Hey awesome people of YouTube, welcome back to another Path of Exile video. In this one we're going to be talking about Atlas progressing. How to go through your Atlas, aka maps. If you see how to go basically from tier 1 to the highest tier and be able to do some of the bosses that you guys seen in the previous videos. But before we get started, I just want to say I hope everyone is having a wonderful week. And that I do stream different games on YouTube that you can check out. Start around 4 p.m. Eastern. Try to do it every single day, so do check it out. Help the channel. With that said, also do have my own Discord. So if you want to ask questions or and ask anything and whatever, do check it out. The link is down in the description. As well as if you want to help support the channel, you can do so for free by leaving a like, comment, or subscribe. That helps tremendously. And if you want to help the channel a little more, you can do so by, well, joining the channel membership. And last but not least, if you want to see something else, a different guide or different anything, do let me know down in the comments. But with that said, let's get into the video. So, once you beat the story or campaign, or some people call tutorials, you will be in maps, right? Towards the end of the story, like late Act 9, Act 10, you'll start to drop maps that will be tier 1 maps, right? Which this league are Bone Crypt, Flooded Mine, Glacier Map, and a Pier. It could be any of those, or it could be all those you drop, right? You want to get from tier 1 to the highest, aka tier 16, because the rewards will be better, you'll get more experience, and, well, you'll be able to work towards, once you reach, 14 plus, you'll be able to get some of the boss maps or guardian maps, and you can work towards defeating your pinnacle bosses, getting your void stones, and unlocking a bunch of more stuff. Pretty much unlocking the very end game, right? But before you do any maps, it is recommended that you have your cap resistances, aka these things, rebel dexterity, the fire, cold, lightning, at 75. I don't have it because I get it through my flasks, but normally you have it through your gear, through your gloves, through your boots, maybe your belt, your rings, your different gear, right? If you go for a similar build, if you have flasks popped, you can also craft, use them at the end of the flask, and then you can use one adjacent flask is used. So you can just literally pop one and the other ones will pop. That way you're at least 75 resistances, right? You also want to have the flask that grants corrupting blood and bleeding immunity. Reason why you don't want to be affected by corrupting blood and bleeding, because when you move while you're bleeding, you lose health a lot. And corrupting blood, it stacks, you will literally lose a lot of health tremendously. You also want to have freeze removal flask. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have it. The reason why is there are some strong boxes that will literally freeze you, and they can blow up or have detonate dead, and that can literally just annihilate you, right? Immunity to burning or removing it is not necessary. You can get away with it. I just chose to keep it. So when I have a proper flask set up, having, if you need mana flask, have that. Life if you need it, need resistances, have that. Quicksilver is also huge. That helps you, move quicker through the maps, so you can just do the maps fast, and then rinse and repeat them, right? You also want to have decent survivability through physical damage reduction, through evasion, armor, or energy shield, depending on what you're going. I have decent life, and I have, it's going to be hard to see, but to the right of where highlighted boxes, you can see spell damage suppression. It might be hard, but I have 100% on that, which means I can suppress the spell damage pretty good, And I have suppressed spell damage prevention at 50, pretty nice. I also have a chance to evade attack at 52, and I have physical damage reduction at 28. Right? It might not seem great, but because of my chest piece, 50% of that damage or physical damage is taken as lightning damage, and since I have 75% resistance, it's huge, right? And then I get more spell suppression through fractured stuff that I got, and then I have, increased spell suppression to spell damage, recovery of stuff, just nice stuff. And I have another 6% damage from physical hits taken as lightning damage. So I can be tankier. So a lot of physical will, well, not a lot, but over 50% of that will go towards the lightning. So I'll take less of that. You know, if you are more tanky, like maybe a duelist who's more tanky, or a marauder, you will stack a lot of armor, right? You can also stack a lot of evasion, or if you're more a magic build, you stack a lot of energy shield if you want, so you can go life, it doesn't matter, right? You just want to be able to be tanky. You also want to have decent damage, you know, as you've seen in the videos before, melt, and I even got stronger. So, you know, the damage here on the sheet is not huge, right? So what you want to have, because this damage is not true. I don't do 2.5k DPS, and if you see on the bottom to the right, poison damage per second from main hits and crits. That's not a lot. In reality, I do a lot more. I do around 6 to 6.5 mil damage per second once everything is popped. So you definitely want to get yourself a Path of Building or POB. I will leave a link down in the description. That way you can see your damage. And you can check if the item will help you or not. Because you could spend a lot of money on an item that doesn't help. So you want to have that. You also want to have your sockets and link done as much as possible, right? You don't need 6 sockets, 6 links. You can go with 4 or 5 links. But once you have your defenses set up, your offensive, and all that set up, you want to start doing the maps. So you have a few different tiers of maps. You have the white maps, the yellow maps, or the red maps. You also have the unique maps and guardian maps, but we'll talk about them later. So the white tier maps are map tiers from 1 to 5. If you have the map tabs, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for these maps, or their basic ones, all you need to do is orbital transmute them. If you need to, just alchemy, or not alchemy, sorry, augmented. If there are bad stats or bad modifiers, you can use what you call it, alteration to reroll it. For example, if your build does a lot of physical and has reflect 18% of physical, you don't want to run that because it's really bad. Same thing if you're elemental damage, you don't want to do that. For my build, since it's the poison on ground and I can walk away from it, I don't care for the reflect. You know, you might also have the better one where enemy have 50% chance to avoid your poison, impale, or bleed. You know, stuff like that, or no mana and life regen, stuff like that. It's look at the mods because they could be bad, right? So remember, for the white tier maps, you transmute them, augment them if you want, and alteration. Do not use chisels. Save it for high tiers. That way, if you transmute it, you'll be able to get the bonus objectives, which will give you as a skill point, right? Which we'll talk in a separate video. For the next tiers, for the yellow tiers, which is tiers, you have this, are tiers 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right? For them, you want to alchemy it. Again, do not use chisels or valor orbs, just alchemy them. You need to, because they got bad mods, scar them and alchemy them. Right? Again, doing that, not only does it give you bonus objective, right? Even if you already completed, you still want to alchemy it, but it also gives you more pack size, quantity, and item rarity, so you can have more chance of getting goodies. Right? For the red tiers, which are 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, you want to chisel them while they're not modified. So while I like this, you know, no mods, chisel them, because if they're unmodified, you know, it'll give you 5% quality. If they're magic, aka you transmute it, it'll only give you 2. And if it's a rare map, if you put an alch, it'll only give you 1. So use 4 chisels to get it to 20, down alchemy, and then corrupt it, because the red maps need to be completed that way. And if you do vulnerable on them, there one of the 4 things can happen. Right? The map doesn't change at all. The map becomes unmodified, which gives it 30% additional quantity, which is huge. The mods will be hidden, but they will stay the same. So whatever mods you had before, they will stay the same. You can also reroll a map into a random map with 8 modifiers, making it incredibly, I wouldn't say you're making it a lot harder, but it also give you a lot more, possibly can give you a lot more goodies. Or it would change the map to a different map and increase its tier. So if it's tier 14, it will become tier 15. Right? That way, it's huge. The best outcome is you get good mods and becomes identifier, so you get an extra quantity, right? Your goals for the Atlas is to get the map completions. That's why for the white maps, you make them magic, for yellow, you make them rare, and for red maps, you make them corrupted rare, right? Because it also gives you more goodies and gets your Atlas skill points. So you can progress and get more rewards from certain things, or farm certain league mechanics, you know, like harvest, like we've seen in the How to Make Money, right? Once you get to the yellow tier maps, you will have certain quest lines. You have 3 different ones: the Maven, the Searing Exarch, and the Eater of the Worlds. Each one at some point have a mini boss that you fight, and at the end will have its own fight, at least for the Searing Exarch and the Eater of the Worlds. Maven is a little different, right? As you can see over here, since I've completed the Searing Exarch, in order for me to fight him again, defeat the map boss on the 14th 28 influence to receive an invitation to the battle. So I can fight him again and possibly get something. For Maven, I can just get 10 Maven bosses from tier 14 plus and fight her Atlas invitation, or get her specific invitation, which I'm missing 2: the Forgotten and the Hidden. Maven invitation you want to do because each invitation gives you an Atlas skill point, and her specific fight also gives you Atlas skill points. And then Eater of the Worlds, the 14th to 28 map, you get invitation to his own mini boss and then the big boss, I believe, right? But also another objective is, well, to get your void stones. If you defeat the Eater of the Worlds, you get a grasping void stone. If you defeat the Searing Exarch, you get omnimiscent void stone. If you defeat Uber Elder or Maven, you get their specific ones. For Maven, it's ceremonial, and for Uber Elder, it is decayed. So I'm gonna go not Atlas, sorry. Over here on the bottom, you see each void stone. No, I completed them. Gives you a 25% chance of the map drop to be 1 tier higher. So if you're farming like tier 14s and 15s, you have them to be higher, right? So that's what you want to do. If you have 4 of them, they'll have 100% chance to be higher. So, but if you're farming 16s, they'll always be 16. You also want these void stones if you want to use sextants. In the How to Make Money video, I showed that you can use compasses to make sextants, or get a better sextant and then put them on there. But you can also put just sextants on this and run maps. They're better, Also, by doing certain things, if you look on the right, you will unlock favorite maps. I have Cemetery favorited, so that you can get it through Exarch, the Worlds, Uber Elder, Elder, Shaper, Maven, all that stuff. It tells you how to get them. I just don't remember the top of my head. But those are some of the ways to get it, right? And by doing it, you'll also be able to get a favorite map, and then depending on what my favorite map is, you can farm it to, well, if it has good cards and stuff like that, you can farm it continuously without needing to buy it, so you can make some more money. And if it's a good map, you might be able to make a few chaos orbs, right? So that's how you progress. Remember, white tier maps, you want to transmute them, make them magic. For yellow tier maps, you want to make them rare, aka alchemy orb them. And for red tier maps, you want to rare and corrupt them. But how do you get maps if you run out, right? There's a few ways. You can buy them from this wonderful dude, Kirak. Purchase, he'll have them. You can also buy Atlas passive skill fund points, but don't worry about that for now, right? You can also buy maps through the website, or if you're on console, through the trade market. If you have the maps that you completed and you want to do the ones that not completed from the same tier, you can use Orbs of Horizon. There we forge a map into another one with the same tier. But probably the best way is by going to Commander Kirak, and every day he'll have Atlas mission. You'll have 1 normally, but if you picked in the Atlas his special thing, you'll have 2. Right? Then if you don't have it, you can run it. There are special things to count for his mission completion, which will re-roll his inventory for purchase. But you can also complete them and get them. If they're like red ones, they need to be rare and corrupted. So unfortunately, this one will not help. If you have special reports, for example, special reports like last cutting ones, reroll all Carrack Atlas mission, corrupting all 9 unique maps. Right? So Carrack missions will be huge for you. Right? So remember to do them every day. Even if you already done those maps, still do them because you might get a good map out of it. Or you might get something good out of it, you know? Like complete a harvest. You're not gonna have harvest, so you can get some of the seeds. But that's about it on the Atlas progression. Remember, you want to start at tier 1 and progress to tier 16 by completing them with bonus objectives. Right? In the next video, we'll be talking about Atlas, passive skill tree, and stuff like that. If you have any questions on how to progress or anything about relating to Atlas, do let me know down in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. You all are awesome. With that said, don't forget to be awesome as always. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.